In solving equations, the same number can be added or subtracted from each side of the equation. The number must be same. It can be added or subtracted on each side of from each side of the equation. For example, in x plus 6 equals to 12, here x is added to 6. So let us subtract 6 from each side of the equation. Now this becomes x positive 6 and negative 6. Cancels out. This becomes 12 minus 6 equals to 6. Therefore, the value of x now is 6. And if this value is substituted in this equation, it produces a true equation. 6 is the value of x plus 6 equals 12. Therefore, 6 is the solution of this equation. Same way, let us take an equation x minus 5 equals to 10, in which x is being subtracted by 5. So add 5 on either side of the equation. We're adding 5 on either side of the equation. This cancels out, 5 and negative 5, and this becomes 15. Therefore, the solution of this equation 1, is x equals 15. Now, if x equals 15 is substituted in this equation, you'll get the true value of the equation. X equals 15 minus 5 equals 10. Let us see some examples and solve the equations. In this example, x plus 12 equals to 24. 12 is being added to x, so subtract 12 from each side of the equation. This is our equation. We're going to subtract 12 from each side. Now you would have x equals 24 minus 12 is 12. Therefore, the value of x is 12, because if 12 is substituted in this equation, you will get the true value of the equation. 12 plus 12 equals 24, because 12 is being substituted for the value of the variable x. Y plus 9 equals 16 is another equation. Now y is being added 9, therefore subtract 9 from each side of the equation. Y plus 9 equals to 16 is the original equation. Now we're going to subtract 9 from each side. This gives you y equals 16 minus 9 is 7. Therefore, the value of y in this equation is equal to 7. M minus 9 equals 5 is an equation. M is a variable. Now 9 is being subtracted from M, therefore add 9 to each side of the equation. M minus 9 equals to 5 is the original equation. So now we're going to add 9 on either side. Because 9 is being subtracted, we're going to add 9. And adding or subtracting the same number on each side of the equation will not change the value of the equation. Now we have here M equals 5 plus 9 is 14. Therefore, M equals to 14 is the solution of this equation. N plus 1 equals to 1 is an equation. N is the variable, and here n is being added 1. Therefore, subtract 1 from each side of the equation. The original equation is n plus 1 equals to 1. Now we're going to subtract 1 from each side. Minus 1 and minus 1. Now we have n plus n minus 1 gets cancelled, and 1 minus 1 is 0. Therefore, n equals to 0 is the solution of the original equation, n plus 1 equals to 1. So far we have seen the addition and subtraction properties of the equations, where we added and subtracted numbers on each side of the equations depending upon the numbers that were added to the variable in the equation. Now we'll see the division property of the equation. Division property. The division property of the equation, the same number can be used to divide each side of the equation without changing the solution of the equation, which means the same number can be used to divide each side of the equation and the solution of the equation will not change. And in the division property, we have to remember that the number that we use to divide should not be equal to 0. For example, in the equation 5x equals to 20, we can see that the variable x is being multiplied 5 times. 5x equals to 20. Here we use the division property of the equation to divide both sides of this equation with a number that is not 0 to solve this equation. Now, since 5 is being multiplied, since x is being multiplied 5 times, we divide this equation with 5 on both sides. Write the original equation. Now, let us divide this equation with 5 on both sides. Now 5 and 5 gets cancelled, therefore you are left with x equals 20 divided by 5 is 4. Therefore we got the value of x equals to 4, which satisfies the original equation 5x equals to 20. You can substitute the value of x to see if that works. 5 times 4 equals to 20 is the true equation. For y equals to 16 is another equation where the variable y is being multiplied 4 times. Now use the division property to divide each side of the equation with a non-zero number. Here in this case it is 4. Write the original equation as it is and 16 here. Now we're going to divide this equation with 4 because 4 is multiplying the variable. Four and 4 gets cancelled. We are left with y equals 16 over 4 is 4. Therefore the value of this equation is y equals to 4. (17m) equals 51 is another equation where the variable m is being multiplied by 17. Therefore, using the division property, divide each side of this equation with the number 17. Write the equation as it is. Now take 17 as the divisor. Now 17 gets cancelled. M equals 51 over 17 gives you 3. Therefore m equals to 3 is the solution of the original equation. You can substitute the value of m equals to 3 in this equation to see if that satisfies that equation. 17 times m now is 3 is equal to 51. Therefore 17 times 3 is 51, and here which is equal to 51 on the other side of the equation. (10n) equals to 100 is another equation. Now as you can see, the variable n is being multiplied by 10. Therefore let us divide this equation on either side with 10. Write the original equation and divide either side with 10. Dividing with the same number on either side of the equation will not change the solution of the equation. 10 and 10 gets cancelled. N equals 100 divided by 10 is 10. Therefore n equals to 10 is the solution of the original equation. 10n equals to 100. We will now learn the multiplication property of the equations. Using this property, each side of the equation can be multiplied by a number and the solution of the equation would not change. For example, x divided by 5 equals to 20 is an equation because it has an expression. It has two expressions separated by an equality sign. Now, using the multiplication property, we can see that the variable x is being divided by 5. Therefore, we take 5 to multiply each side of this equation. Equals to 20 is the original equation. Now we're going to multiply each side of this equation with 5 because the variable x is being divided by 5. Now you can see that 5 and 5 gets cancelled and you are left with the variable x, and 20 times 5 is 100. Therefore, x equals to 100 is the value of this equation. Substituting x equals to 100 in the original equation gives you 20, which is the true equation. M divided by 2 equals to 15. Now we can see in this equation m is being divided by 2. Now we need to multiply this equation each side with 2. That is the original equation. Two and 2 gets cancelled. M equals 15 times 2 is 30. Therefore, m equals to 30 is the solution of this equation. Y divided by 17 equals to 3 is another equation. Now, since the variable y is being divided by 17, we multiply each side of this equation with 17. Seventeen and 17 gets cancelled. Y equals 3 times 17 is 51. Therefore, y equals to 51 is the solution of the equation y divided by 17 equals to 3. Therefore, if you substitute y equals to 51 in this equation, which is 51 over 17, which gives you the result 3, which is the answer.